Hi everyone, I'm Michael and welcome to Back Alley Bonsai. Today what I'm going to be working on is this Portulacaria afra. This is another one of the many cuttings out of my collection. I've had it in this azalea pot for a while and it's growing really well. I've been kind of growing it out and clipping and pinching back some of the growth to kind of get better branching, and it's really leafed out like crazy. And now I think I'm ready to do something more permanent with it. And I need to kind of figure out what I want with this particular plant. It's growing in kind of a clump style. It's got 4 trunks on it, and they're all kind of fanning out. And I've got a couple of things I can do, like I'm thinking about maybe a cascade, or I can cut it back to 1 or 2 of them and just have a really thick root base on it. Those are options. But what I think I really want to do with this plant is make it into more of a clump style. And what I'm thinking is that I will take it and plant it sort of at that angle right there and have the branches coming out all of the same spot and all kind of reaching skyward like fingers. I kind of like that, so I think that's what I'm going to go for. I've got to do some major cuts on this in order to get it kind of back into shape. And ultimately it's going to be kind of an umbrella style canopy on it, I think, or with like individual pads. But it is just getting started, so I got a long way to go on all of that. So I'm going to do some pruning, and then I'm going to move it into a bonsai training pot, and we will go forward from there. So the first major thing that I need to do is take and shorten some of these branches. These are just growing out way too far for the vision that I have of this. It needs to be a little bit more compact. So I'm going to cut that back to there. And for this one, I'm going to cut it back to a similar spot. And we've got some inside branches right there. We'll take that out. And that out as well. That way this branch isn't competing directly with this branch. But this one is also very long, and it's pretty thin. It's the weakest of them, so I don't want it to be the tallest or the strongest of the 4 trunks. I'm going to cut it back. Actually, I'll cut it back to there. And I should really clean up some of this inside growth as well. This is a cutoff point where there was a 5th very thick trunk on this that I wanted to get rid of in order to open this whole thing up, just as sort of a test. So I'm going to come in here with my pruners and I'm going to clean some of this up just to get a better vision of what's going on inside. Bit of a stump. Actually, these afras, you can just kind of, with these afras, you can just kind of pinch them away. I still want to get this stump cleaned up. There we go. So now hopefully that will start to callus over. What else we got going on? We got these 2 branches, which are both growing somewhat inward. So I'm going to take both of these off. And a lot of these branches just sort of competing with each other. Actually, you know what? I'm going to keep that one. Next, I'm going to look at these branches right over here. And you can see this branch is just sort of Next, I'm going to take a look at this branch right here, this trunk, which is the biggest and strongest of my trunks. So I'm okay with it being prominent, but there's a few things going on with it. We have these two branches, which are essentially just parallel to each other, which I don't particularly care for. And the bottom one is actually growing stronger than the top one. So I want to even out that a little bit. So I'm going to go ahead and just take all of this, cut that back to there, and hopefully get this branch here to kind of take over. And this is all getting a little bit on the longish side, so I'm going to cut that back to there. Well, now this branch over here seems to be a little bit too strong compared to that one, so I'm going to have to cut it back too, I think. And I'd like to cut it back to something outward facing, and I do have a little branch right here. So I'm going to go ahead and cut all of that off. There we go. And unfortunately, this branch, as much as I do like it, is actually very long and very straight and does not have much character to it. So I think I'm actually just going to take it back as well. And fortunately, there is another outward-facing branch right below it. So right there. And we'll hopefully get that one to grow up. Excellent. So I think that's a pretty good start for this tree. So next is to get it into a bonsai training pot. So for the pot on this Portulacaria afra, I'm just going to use one of these round plastic training pots. It's going to fit really nicely. It's about the same size as the azalea pot that it's currently in. It's a little bit bigger, but that should give it room to grow into the pot. But we do need to get the plant out of the soil, rake out the roots, and see what all we've got below the lip of this. So here we go. Well, we got quite a few roots in this. It's looking pretty good. Excellent. It's not too pot bound or anything, so this is about the right size pot for it. And we'll just go through and rake out some of these. Oh, that's a nice looking root. You can see where the original cutting is right there on it. It's the original root. All right, it actually has a really healthy root system, which I'm glad to see. So, with that in mind, this root right here, The plant is going to be moved into kind of this orientation. This root goes down at a weird angle and then curves in on itself, so this one probably needs to go. Fortunately, there is another root right next to it. And then this one here, I'm going to reduce it to there. Same thing with this one, I'm just going to reduce it. But I think that's really all the root work I'm going to do on this for now. I'll pull it down a little bit. Add a nice layer of bonsai soil into the bottom of the pot. Gonna set the plant down in it. I can probably get it a little higher than that. There we go. Just want to make sure that we fill in all the little nooks and crannies down here. Fill in all the gaps. And now we'll go ahead and give it some water. We're just going to run it through until all the fine particles come out and the water starts to run reasonably clear. And now we'll give you a nice little spin of the tree. Well, there you go, everybody. That is the initial styling and potting of my Clump-Style Portulacaria afra. If you've enjoyed this video, please hit the like button. Feel free to hit the subscribe button as well. It doesn't cost you a thing. And as always, have yourselves a wonderful day.